time to do this one more time. Happy birthday to Ernest Kojo Menu. Ernest is our colleague in the newsroom. Yes, and he hosts nightly news on Joy News on Multi TV. He's a sterling colleague, and it means I think he does it of the Omni Media Group, citynewsroom.com. Eben, good morning. Happy birthday to you guys. Anglebo, how's everything?
Well, I'm doing good. You made a statement when I entered. Do you remember what you said?
I said that whenever you come to the studio, people should just look for the Facebook or YouTube Live.
Oh, all right. Okay. No, that makes it clear, because what I heard you say is that whenever you hear Uncle Bo is coming, go to our Facebook. Listen, and I would say that, and I just wanted you to know that when I'm coming, I don't put it on Facebook. And trust me.
Ladies and gentlemen, Uncle Ebo White. Okay, so Uncle Ebo, you have to give us another crazy ride. You have to. And someone was asking if we'll have recordings of that. Or we've seen some small clips, you dancing with King Promise.
Yes. That was something that happened on the spur of the moment.
Yeah.
And I think it shows you what a good sport King Promise is. I was actually burning his song, and I had told him that I'm going to burn your song.
Okay.
And that when after I finish burning it, come on stage, and then do the right thing. And I think the burning was so bad.
He came to pour water on it.
Jumped on stage, and out of it came that thing that you just saw.
It was great.
Beautiful, one of the most beautiful moments. Of the time.
Definitely.
Then, if you are working, there is a question you need to ask yourself from time to time. And the question is, do I have a job orientation or a career orientation or a calling orientation? There is a difference, and it is a difference between living an empty life or living a fulfilling and meaningful one. Let us attempt to highlight the differences between the three. Those with job orientation have the following traits. 1, they work only for the money and the perks. 2, they cannot wait for closing so they can come alive again. 3, they do not see the significance of their work and they don't care as long as they get paid. 4, when they close, they don't give any thought whatsoever to the work they do and to the company. 5, they are always on the lookout for something better to do because the work does not fulfill them. 6, they do not feel they have any stake in the company they work for. And 7, they do not make any emotional investment in the company. You can tell those with a job orientation from their attitude and from their words. In attitude, they don't show much commitment and are not willing to go the extra mile. You hear them say things like, I wanted to be a musician, but my parents wanted me to be a doctor, and that is why I'm a doctor. Or they say things like, I'm just the administrative assistant here, but what I really love to do is to run my own business. Or you hear them say, I love marketing, but the only opening available was teaching. Those with a job orientation take very little pride in their work. For them, Sunday evenings and Monday mornings are depressing, whilst Friday evenings are great. For those with job orientation, closing time cannot come fast enough, and public holidays are just too few. What about those with a career orientation? Here are their traits. 1, they are, of course, also interested in money, but that is not their main motivation. They want to work for advancement. 2, they take the trouble to learn all they can about their work in the hope that it will enable them to excel and earn promotion and become more influential in the company. 3, they are willing to put in long hours to produce results and make a statement that they can be counted upon for more responsibilities. 4, they are willing to add value to themselves by reading magazines and books on what they do, and they look out for courses and seminars that will enable them to achieve more in the company. 5, they see every problem at work as a challenge to be overcome, and they refuse to give in to discouragement. And 6, public holidays are welcome to career-oriented people, but they are just as willing and happy to sacrifice the holiday for work whenever necessary. Then there are those with a calling orientation. They have the following traits. 1, they will do the work even if they are not paid. 2, they see the work as linked to their purpose in life. And 3, they sleep, dream, eat, and drink their work. They come alive when they are working. And 4, they are prepared to make any sacrifice necessary to produce the desired results. The question is, which orientation do you have? A job orientation, a career orientation, or a calling orientation? The truth is that you have not started living until you have a career orientation, and you have not started on your journey to significance until you develop a calling orientation. Not everyone gets to have a calling orientation, but everyone can develop a career orientation. So how do you move from a job mentality to a career mentality? Here are a few ideas. 1, change the way you think about your work. No work is insignificant or it will not exist. If your work exists and there is a company willing to pay you to do it, then it is not insignificant. When you change the way you think about your work, you empower yourself to move from a job mentality to a career one. 2, take every opportunity to get to know as much as you can about what goes on in the other parts of the company. So you are a driver in the company. Don't just be satisfied sitting behind the steering wheel as others go about their work. Ask them questions about the nature of their work, and from time to time, instead of just driving them, ask if you can come along with them to watch and listen to them make their presentations or meet a client. Show an interest in what others do in the company. 3, offer to help those in higher positions than yourself. Everyone is happy to teach and mentor. So, if you're a sales executive, offer to help the head of department, and in so doing, he will teach and mentor you in ways that will make you stand out as a sales executive. And 4, make a commitment to be excellent at your work. Dan, when I was working at SNET, we had a lot of drivers who drove the minibuses that picked us to work and took us home. In my second year at SNET, a new driver was employed, and within a short time, everyone was talking about him. He was patient, he was courteous, and he was a fantastic defensive driver. Every department wanted him. People on every route wanted him assigned to their route. Eventually, he caught the eye of the general manager of operations, and he became not just his driver, but his personal assistant. He had made a commitment to excellence, and he was rewarded greatly. Now, how do you move from a career to a calling? Here are a few ideas. 1, understand the larger purpose of your work and throw yourself fully into it. And 2, see beyond the money and think of the impact of your work on your customers, your clients, your listeners, your viewers, and patrons. Now, knowing the orientation of people is helpful for managers as well. It makes it easy to get the right results from every worker. From the one with a job orientation, you tighten supervision and link pay directly with output. For the worker with a career orientation, you build a relationship and give more responsibilities and opportunities to advance, and you give him a career path to motivate him even more. And for the one with a calling orientation, just keep defining the vision as clearly as possible, and that will do the trick. Dan, work takes about a third of our lives, and the right orientation keeps us healthier and happier. So today, do an audit of your work orientation. It may explain a lot about your life. And that's my presentation.
Thank you very much, Uncle Ebo. Always a lot of lessons that I'm beginning to ask myself if I have a career orientation or a calling orientation or a job.
No, you have a career orientation.
Okay. So I need to work on making it a calling.
No, because I know you. I know your heartbeat. I know you love this. You really love this.
Yeah.
You love this. And
next to God and my mother.
Yeah. And when you wake up at 3 and you are rushing here, you don't say, no work again. You are just excited. Because you know you're going to make somebody hot.
Oh, okay, no. Is that about making people?
Oh, well, it's part of the privilege, isn't it?
We do it. In fact, we do it very, very advisedly. We don't like to make people hot. But the bottom line, and I love what you said about serving customers, clients, and listeners and patrons, because the bottom line for us here, and it's not just me, it's the entire. Yes. We have an army behind us. You know this more than I do. It's about serving all of these people separately, because we have clients who are those who bring the advertisers, who pay for the airspace.
That's right.
And we have listeners who listen to us every day.
Yeah.
And there's even we ourselves, and there's states partners, there's corporate partners and all of that. So we need to keep all of these persons. We need to nourish all of them equally, and what one person may need is not what another person may need.
Yeah.
So keeping that balance, it's always beautiful, and it helps you, especially when a client is giving you feedback as a customer and the client at the same time. That's when you know
that's a different thing. That's a different thing. But if you think that feedback is something, when a family member is giving you a feedback, is another thing altogether.
Hey, good morning, Mr. Nicholas. That's it. I know I'll get a phone call at 10 a.m. today.
That's a different thing altogether.
Yeah, altogether.
Because they feel ownership. With us, and they suffer when we are struggling.
Yeah.
On air with us, and that is what makes this fun, and that is why no sacrifice is too much for our listeners and our stakeholders.
I love that. No sacrifice is too much.
No.
Thank you very much, Uncle Abel. Always a pleasure chatting with you in the morning.
And have a good time.
You too. You want to stay with us on the Super Morning Show on